pissed off, and I'm real pissed off. Today, while I was Ubering, I had a gentleman get in my car. He asked me who I voted for. I said, I don't want to talk about politics, just trying to keep it light. He said, oh, you must have voted for Kamala. I said, sir, I really don't want to talk about politics. Well, that man looked at me and said, well, you know what? Trump's going to fix things. He's going to get the Mexicans out of our country and the Haitians, and he's going to put you black people back where you belong. That's what he said to me. Because y'all decided to vote for a racist, now all these other racists are feeling very emboldened to say whatever the hell they want to. Y'all voted for the same people the KKK, the Proud Boys, and the skinheads voted for. That says a lot. How stupid can you be? Yeah, I'm pretty pissed off because I ain't never had that happen to me. He gonna put us black people back where we belong. That's who you voted for, the same man as that man. Pfft, sad.
Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and others of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from Great Millstone, Orlando, and there's a certain spirit that is being stirred up. I'm gonna grab this real quick. In Isaiah 42, as we often use this in reference to World War III, but it can be applied here to Babylon as well. In Isaiah 42:13, the Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. So that's the point. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, again, he's stirring up a certain spirit. Like I said, pertaining to World War III, but likewise, or as well as here in Babylon the Great. All right. Because one thing about it, we haven't seen a real hungry, desperate Edomite for some time. And the devil is getting ready to show his true colors. You see, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna grab this. It's a rock. Because it's just funny. Esau, as I did the video the other day, when it comes to Trump being the savior, or he's being set up as the savior for Babylon, and here it is, you got dumb simpleton Jakes that actually so-called voted for Trump, not knowing and understanding when it comes to his whole slogan of making America great again. Jake has no idea what that entails. But Esau does. All right. And again, we're getting ready to see Esau's true nature. But what's funny about it, and I said this before, the same way Biden made all these promises when he first got into office and didn't keep none of them. Made things hella worse. Just speaking as a man, I can see Trump, as he's doing now, making all these promises, but not coming through and making shit even worse, 10 times worse than Biden did. Just speaking as a man, because what these patriotic Edomites, and I do have another video that I want to play, but what Esau, and I'm talking about the common Joe six-pack hot dog eating Edomite, what they don't understand is You're going to feel a squeeze too. All right. But I'm going to grab this real quick in Sirach 12 and verse. I'm going to start at 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And you see, you can't get rid of rust. All you can do is cover it up pretty much. So when it comes to Esau, again, that the hatred that he has for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians has never been done away with. It's just been covered up. He's just masked it for so long. But his true nature is about to be shown. And especially, like I said, with all these promises that Trump's making, Salakia. As Trump is making all these promises, more than likely he's not going to fulfill any of them, because the scripture is going to basically a king, a wicked king that doesn't do good to himself. He doesn't do good to his own people, and that's what we've been seeing. Esau pretty much hurting his own people. All right, because there shouldn't be no such thing as a homeless white person in America. But what's cold about it, Yahweh Bashemal Shah, he's turning things right side up. All right. Is in a sense, it's beautiful to see, even when it comes to 2/3. You know, you go in a lot of these suburban areas. At one point in time, it was Esau living in these nice neighborhoods, but now it's Jake. You see Esau riding in these broke down vehicles, and Jake is sliding good. You know, and you can only imagine, because as of right now, the Lord's not dealing with 2/3. But here it is, 2/3, they're so-called winning. Well, how much more? Can only imagine what the Lord has in store for us. And I'm talking about on this side, before we even make it into the kingdom. Because we're definitely in the time of increase. I believe it. All right. I believe that. As a matter of fact, I know it. Because we're beyond belief at this point. All right. But 2 Ezra 6:9, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Jacob is on the rise. And Esau, he's going back to his natural state and being a bum. You know, being more viler than the earth. A piece of shit. I'm talking about a literal piece of shit, a pile of shit. Has more value than an Edomite. All right. But the blessings are being lifted up off of our people, and they're coming upon Esau in particular. And we love to see it. So with that being said, the fact that Esau, and I always say this, Esau, he's starting to feel what it is to be a nigger. But what's cold about it is Esau, he is the original nigga regardless. So, as I like to say, welcome home, you bitch you. This is where you belong. Slakia. So as I was saying, Esau, the Lord is knocking him off of his high horse, and he's starting to feel what it is to be a nigger, which again, he is the original nigger regardless. But he doesn't like that feeling. And when their beloved savior doesn't come through for them, in fact, because again, when Esau comes down with that great wrath, when the devil comes down with that great wrath, he's going to get Esau, he's going to get his own people as well. So with that being said, who do you think these Edomites are going to take their frustrations out on? The easy targets. So-called black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. All right, men, women, and children. You see, Esau, he's going to take his frustrations out on each other, for one. But Jacob is going to be easy targets. All right. Sirach 12 and 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wipest Slakia, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Because again, it's just been masked, covered up. Esau, he's about to show his true colors. All right. Because at this point, Esau, when you go into classism, all right, Esau, he's taken away from his own people. He's stealing from, robbing from his own people. And again, who do you think that average Edomite is going to take their frustrations out on? Jake. When you go to Revelation 13, when it mentions this here in Revelation 13 and 16, and this is something that we've been seeing more and more ever since the so-called New Year started. Ever since this, so-called crisis in 2020. This is something that we've only been seeing more and more. The rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. And if you are in the middle class, well, hey, you're either going to fall into one or two categories, the rich or the poor. And that's exactly what we've seen. These guys like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's, all right, they've gotten richer. And the average middle class Edomite, if you don't fall into the category of the rich, hey, you're going to fall into the category of the poor. And that's why this here in Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. So that's the point right there. Because it didn't mention, there's no in between. All right. It said rich and poor. So again, you're either going to fall into one of two categories. And Esau, he doesn't like that shit. All right. Again, there shouldn't be no such thing as a homeless Edomite in America. Esau living in trailer parks. More homelessness when it comes to the Edomite population. All right. He's losing. He's a 3-time loser. All right. And guess who's to blame? His own people, his own elites. But who do you think, again, they're going to take their frustrations out on? Because I'm going to play this next clip.
Mr. Speaker.
I'm going to fast forward it, or speed it up, rather.
This bill authorizes Donald Trump to recklessly impose a death penalty on any nonprofit in America that happens to be on his enemies list. With this bill, he can destroy the very life of civil society in this country, one group after another, even though the group involved that he targets as a terrorist supporting group has not violated a single law. Even though the group has not been presented with a shred of evidence, or the public, for doing this, without offering any specific explanation or reason as to why the life is being taken out of the civil society group, and without providing a day in court, a hearing, and without any meaningful right of appeal, no matter how capricious, no matter how unjustified Trump's action may be. H.R. 9495 is a repackaged version of legislation that was originally filed months ago, with good intentions, including that of some of my Democratic colleagues. With Trump's election, the conditions have changed. The dangers of granting additional power to him are far outweighed by any benefits from this bill. This is the same Trump who vowed to be dictator on day one and has declared the greatest danger our country faces today is the enemy within. This bill is now opposed by a growing number of civil society groups, over 120 groups, the ACLU, the Brennan Center, the NAACP, Planned Parenthood, the Center for American Progress, the American Federation of Teachers, a list that goes on, the Freedom of the Press Foundation. This legislation is done in the name of stopping financial support for terrorism. All of us support stopping terrorism. Like everyone here, I've done that, and I have previously voted for this very language, not once but twice. Though the last time it came before our committee, I voiced the very same concerns about the lack of due process that I voiced today. Since none of the deficiencies of this bill have been corrected and no amendment is offered today, we must reject it. If he is on a march to make America fascist, we do not need to supply Donald Trump with any additional weapons to accomplish his ill purpose. Our freedoms will not be destroyed in one great blow. No, it will be 1,000 cuts over the term of this administration, undermining our liberties one after another. To those who say that this bill only applies to groups that are supporting terrorism, consider how very expansive that term can be, both at home and abroad. The foreign tyrants that Donald Trump so much admires have imprisoned journalists, academics, and rights activists by claiming that they are supporters of terrorism. State and federal elected officials in this country have called for terrorism investigations or prosecution of major news outlets. Trump himself has criticized and labeled anti-racist activists as terrorists. Some have mischaracterized environmental groups as eco-terrorists. Under this bill, Trump's list of targets would only be limited by his imagination, not any guardrails in the bill. For example, Trump claimed that Democrats, myself included, who didn't clap enough for him in this chamber when he gave his first State of the Union, were traitors, that we were treasonous. He could target organizations that assist refugees for harboring terrorists, Planned Parenthood or a hospital for the alleged terror of abortion, an environmental group mislabeled as an eco-terrorist, a private university that permits too many anti-Trump demonstrations, a disability rights group that is objecting to Trump's interference with the Affordable Care Act, a shelter offering housing to, I yield myself another 2 minutes. A shelter offering housing to LGBTQ youth, a Vietnam Veterans of America group that previously declared Trump's attacks on Gold Star families disgraceful and un-American, think tanks that don't happen to think the way Trump wants it, groups fighting Christian nationalism, or simply any tax-exempt group not viewed as sufficiently pro-MAGA. Now, let's talk about the examples, the two examples that the chairman just referred to. He thinks the IRS commissioner has not acted swiftly enough, and it sounds like perhaps he's right. Well, who do you think appointed the IRS commissioner? His name is Donald J. Trump. The defect is not in the law as it exists today, but on the question of whether or not there's been proper administration of the law that exists today that can deal with terrorism. If the real purpose of this bill as well were simply to postpone tax filing deadlines for the very small number of Americans that have been detained hostage, as wrong as that is, are approving right now the bill that has lingered here as Republicans shelled it for 6 months, that the Senate approved to do that, to provide them that protection. We can put that bill on the president's desk right now. The very fact that the Republicans use this claim of helping hostages, it's a subterfuge. Because
So when you really break it down and dissect it, which, like I said, just to get to the whole video, I sped it up. But I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check this video out. Because, hey man, Lord willing, Trump, he comes with it. And that's looking to be the case. Because again, with all this being said, you know, Trump could very well be the man to you know, bring these things, to really bring it on. And like I said, with Esau, once their beloved savior fails them, it turns out not to be what they thought him to be. Because right now, like I said, man, Trump is making all these promises. He's talking a good game, a hell of a game. But once he doesn't come through, again, Esau is going to tear shit up. And again, who do you think they're going to take the frustrations out on? The easy targets. Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. The plebeians and the patricians, all right, the Republicans and the Democrats, all right, they appear to speak and be on the behalf of the people, the common folk, all right. But it says, and he spake as a dragon, going back into the time of the Greek Empire. You know, was a known lawgiver or cruel lawgiver by the name of Draco. All right, when you go into this word dragon, all right, a cruel Athenian lawgiver. All right, which again, it appears, and Lord willing, that's the case. Trump, you know, coming with these draconian laws, draconian measures, because, man, that spirit of sedition, man, the spirit of war is being stirred up. Yahweh Bashemal Shai is stirring things up more and more. He's shaking the pot. Right now, these people are comfortable. you know, for the most part, peace and safety. All right. But something's going to happen, man. That's really going to, because it's known in Jeremiah 1, America's known as a seething pot. All right. And this thing is getting ready to spill over. It's already boiling. But this thing is getting ready to spill over 144 times over. You know, and like Yahushua said, hey, if this was my kingdom, my servants would fight. Right? But this ain't our kingdom, and we're not fighting for this shit. This is Esau's kingdom, so rightfully so. He should, and he is going to fight. And Jacob's is going to end up being, you know, in the crossfires, in the mix, easy targets. You know, but Trump could very well be that man, Lord willing. This is edifying. Call Halayim Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Shalom to you, hopefully elect.